This is a bit funny. I got really used to doing live recordings, and things went along well enough, and now there's been so much change and I've kind of been away from it, and I feel all awkward again. I tell you, no matter how long I sit here and stare at this thing before I turn it on, nothing comes. It's like it's a requirement to be empty to turn it on. Go figure. All right, so we talked about why are we here, and some neat ideas came up. If we could go far enough back, by claiming we're ancient, eternal, and divine, it's not so hard then to go back to before coming down to 3D Earth, however many millennia that might be. What's an eon? A couple of thousand years, eons, whatever. The Earth is a whole heck of a lot older than current science posits. But current science is dead until it wakes up and opens its arms to scientists like Carl Jung, and others of his ilk. You know, I forget his name, the guy who wrote The Secret Life of Plants. They don't allow creativity. They don't allow independent thought. And they're not very good at accommodating consciousness as anything except mechanical functioning of the biology of the brain. And so it's dead, you know. And that's a shame, but that's okay, you know. We don't need it to tell us what reality is. They think we do, but we don't. Because we have it, all of it, within. Now, accessing it consciously, there's the trick. You let me know when you find out how, but I know it's there. I know it's there. So that's why we're here. Maybe. Maybe not. And it's not so difficult to make the shift either. You know, the way to get out of a thing is to go into it. The way to go up is down. The way to go left is right. I mean, this is like a mirror image reality we're living in. Pseudo reality. And so it's like when the man is talking, you know he's lying. See? No, I'm sorry. I'm just being silly there. Things are reversed. And so most of us would really like to get out of here. I'm one. But that's one of the things that we have to surrender. And if you're really sincere in your search for truth, you will surrender it at some point, because life will see to it that you do. Your sincerity will lead you there. Papaji used to say, if you're sincere, that's enough. No, that was Nisargadatta, sorry. Get my teachers mixed up. So, the way out is in. Instead of running away, which is what we would like to do. We would like to wave our little magic wand and zip, 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 you know, be up in the 5th dimension and never have to come back here again. Yeehaw, what a party it would be, huh? Well, you know, we can dream like that, but now let's be real. Let's be real. The way out is in. It's through acceptance, first of all, and non-resistance. And running away is some kind of ultimate resistance. We're resisting what is. Life is offering us a gift, and we're saying not only no thanks, but hell no. We're saying, take it away, I don't want it. That's not the way out. I mean, I have beat my head bloody against that particular wall. And so all I can do is talk for me. All I can do is share my thing here. And I count on you to share yours. They're all equally valid. But what I have discovered is that the way out is in. And so we welcome what is, and we sit with it, whether it's depression or what, you know, and we tune into heart, and we watch and listen. Always have one ear cocked in your heart for the still small voice. And so that's the way out. Now, how does that work? You follow where you're led. You no longer bow down and worship anyone or anything, any book or any philosophy, any ism or ology. Your heart now is your guide. And you can accept a consultation from those other things, from your friends, your spouse, whomever. But you have to take your power back. Again, I'm just speaking for me, for what I've found. We have to take our power back and take responsibility for our life. We can't live to please someone else, and we can't live to fix someone else. We can't live in any way, shape, or form for someone else. We have to live for ourselves. It's hard enough to sort it out for yourself. Don't complicate things by bringing others into it. Okay, so the surrender thing is where life led me. I don't know where life will lead you, but there's still underlying a deep sadness there. Now, I don't know exactly what it is. See, I've been using these words like depression and sadness because they come the closest to what I feel is going on. I don't really feel that they're right. It's just that I can't see what's operating here beyond the fact that it's a letting go. And in the letting go, it's better to do things like we need to let go of being in first person, of being the I. If we can step back into third person and be the observer, it works best. And then, even when you're in the midst of all this pain and this anguish or this blah or whatever it is, you're in third person, so you're watching. There's a feeling of all that going on, but there's also a watching. And I find that to be the secret, with the ear cocked, listening to the heart. And what I find as I watch, it's kind of like it's mind that's upset and hurting, dying, if you will. Mind is a real trickster. I've got a bunch of earlier journals that talk about that a lot. And we've built up a false identity here. And when people say, well, you're too identified with the body, well, it's like, okay, I can kind of see that, but I see it mentally. Now, what am I supposed to do about it, right? That's what I'm trying to do here. What do we do about it when we're too identified? We step back and we watch. We go into third person. We let it go. Now, the mind can help because the mind can be taught, I am not that. It can be taught to recognize, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. Those are thoughts. They can come, they can go. That whole Zen thing, that sounds really strange, when you hear that thoughts are supposed to be like clouds floating in the sky and you just watch them pass. Well, I finally got that. You can watch them pass by not thinking them. It's like there's a topic written on a cloud and it's floating by. And the topic says, I'm upset with my spouse because he said X. And what you do is you don't get past reading the topic. You look at it, you recognize what it is, and you choose not to follow it, that train of thought. It's not a train of thought unless you hop on. If you don't hop on, it's just a thought, and it can come and go. Hope that helps. I wish somebody would have said something like that to me back when I first heard this idea. Anyway, this is maybe evidence of being disidentified from the mind. If you can watch your thoughts like that, obviously you're not in the mind in first person. If you were, you would be the thought, and there would be no way you could disconnect from it, disentangle from it. Okay, now the start to all of this, dear ones, is going into heart. I mean, to me, that's what makes it all possible. I didn't teach heart. Heart taught me. Whatever me is, go figure. I mean, language right now is such a muck for me. I try to write comments or answer them, and I want to put every third word in parentheses because the words aren't right to try to say what you're trying to say. But if you're tuned in, if you're plugged into heart, then we've got something heart to heart going here, and it can work in spite of the words. Don't get hung up in the words. So, how do you step back? Well, you watch, and you watch for evidence, like being able to watch a thought go by and not make it a train of thought. It's all compressed. It needs you to decompress it. Oh, by the way, this is a little mineral that I bought at a show somewhere, and I have forgotten what it is. It's very heavy and it's black, and it's got the strangest faceting. It can have 4, 5, 6, even 7 sides. If anybody knows what it is, let me know. I forgot. Okay. You step back so that you can watch the feelings. And you can't watch the feelings if you're stuffing or if you're running away from them, see. You've got to be welcoming life. I think there's a whole constellation of things that has to come together, that will come together for you the way it did for me. Like I'm always saying, you got to be in heart, and you got to have your focus pointed inward, and that covers most things. And then if you just watch, and of course to watch, you need to be still. I'm going to recommend again the same link that I gave you in the last video, Sacred Sarah talking about time in the cloud. She did a really good job toward the end of illustrating for you how you're not in now, you're not present. Forget multitasking. The most important thing we have is our attention or our focus. Everything hinges on it. It's key. First thing we do is it's a light shining outward when we're living in mind. When we go into heart, we turn the focus inward and we start watching the self. Other things and people and so on will enter your now. You don't have to look out there for them. They will come into your now. So by having your focus on watching self, you're fine. You won't cease to function. You'll just become more aware. And remember, there's no need to do. We can't rush this. It's been my experience that, things are actually going rather fast right now. But we can't make it go faster. So there's that. Why are we here? What are we doing? I think the biggest thing was, how do we recognize? How do we go about disidentifying? Sacred Sarah's got it when she presents time in the cloud. What it amounts to, we talk about containing the poles. In duality, people polarize. So you've got liberals and conservatives and, all the different things that people can polarize on. And when we step into higher frequency and higher dimensions, we find that we contain all of that, and we don't feel the need to pick one over the other. We can take the perspective of one or the other, that flexible perspective, okay? So this is stepping up out of duality. It's disidentifying too. It's stepping up out of first person. Let's step into third person, everybody. Let's check that out for a while. So we rise up above it, or we go deeply in to it. If you go deeply into now, or if you go in heart, you step out of time and you step out of space. They don't function the same when you're centered. You're in superposition. You're everywhere at once. And at the speed of thought, you can be wherever you will. And your focus is there. And you're perceiving. And if you're sufficiently centered and you're not trying to multitask anything, you might even benefit from it. Really tune in. You contain it all. And you are not the body. Quit thinking of you as the body. You are not the body. You are divine. You contain the body. You contain the universe, actually. But the you, it does pay to ponder, who am I? And start out by knowing you're not the body and you're not the mind. And that you're everywhere at once. And you're every when at once. The mind, the 3D mind, will never wrap itself around the fact that you're living all of your incarnations now, but the heart does. It's like a little supercomputer in there. You go in, and at the speed of thought, you can take yourself across time. It's all accessible to you. Now, what I have found, God, how do I convey this? I don't go trying to astral travel. I don't go trying to remember other lifetimes. I don't go trying to do any of these things. Sometimes I'll meditate. I love the fractal thing. And so in disidentifying from the body, it used to be my practice that I would go into heart and stay there for the whole meditation. And from within heart, I would know that I contain the earth. And so I would see it, and I would be it inside. And it's a knowing, and you really, really do. It's a no shit knowing, excuse me. It works. This stuff works. And so I would focus until I indeed contained the earth. I felt it within me. And then I would expand out. I would go for the sun, and I would contain the sun. And then, if I kept it up and if it worked that way, I would go from there to the solar system, to the galaxy, to the universe, sometimes even to the multiverse. But what I would find would happen at times is that while I was exploring this, doing this, containing this, now and then one of these would address me. I was so shocked to be greeted by the galaxy. It'll stop you in your tracks. But Gaia, the sun, the galaxy, even the universe, these are sentient beings. They're mighty and they're cosmic. And I don't know what the magic is, but we contain it all, my friends. We really do. And what man has done, man can do. And these are beings. And they will commune with you. When you're in heart, you're not just in superposition. You're not just everywhere. You're love, your joy, and your contentment. One of the things that's hardest to convey is that there's a contentment there. There's a peace where there are no questions. Questions have been a rare thing for me. I have a document where if a question comes up that has any reality to it, see, questions of the mind I'm not interested in. 90-some% of questions are from the mind. Maybe they all are. I don't know. But the deeper questions, I have a document. And I write them down so that if I ever get into one of these things where I'm able to access all knowledge or ask my questions, you know, like people get to do in an NDE if they want to, I'll have to have my little document with me so I can remember what they are, because you're not lacking anything. You're full. You're richer than Croesus. I would that I could share that contentment with one and all, and I can, but you just have to find your way into heart. I hope this has been useful, maybe even helpful. Good day.